Hey guys, thanks for joining me again today in the Panzer series. Today we will be going over the Panzer II's development, service, and design. The first thing I would like to point out is in most of the footage, you can see Panzer I's and II's working together. Most of this footage is most likely from the interwar period, where Panzer I's and II's are mostly what the Germans had. The Panzer II was the main German light tank throughout World War II and was produced until 1943. First, I'd like to go over the development and design of the Panzer II. First off, the Panzer II was a very stopgap design and was made alongside the Panzer I to have some sort of anti-tank capability. The origins of the Panzer II can be traced back to the German Design Office in 1934. The Design Office received orders to design a new light tank that would result in the Panzer II. The result was a Daimler-Benz designed superstructure and turret, and a turret with the KWK-30 L55 20mm, which was derived from a Flak 30 anti-air, and a 7.62mm machine gun. The front armor was 14mm thick, with a 10mm top and bottom armor. To propel this tank, there was an HL-62 TRM gasoline 6-cylinder, providing 140 tiny horses. One of the main problems with the Panzer II is that its 14mm of armor is not enough to stop the Soviet 45 or the French 47. Some of the various versions of the Panzer II include the Panzer IIb, which upped the armor slightly, the Panzer IIc, which didn't vary much, but some of the Panzer IIcs lasted until D-Day. There's also Panzer IIF. No clue what happened to the D&E, but the F's armor was pretty decent with 30mm on the front of the hull and the turret. There are 1,004 Panzer IIFs produced. They make up a large portion of the Panzer II production. The Panzer II D and E seem to come after the F. From what I could find, the D came with a new suspension. The Panzer II Ds that made it through Poland and France were converted into Marder IIs, and a small amount being converted into flamethrowing tanks, interestingly. The Panzer II seemed to be only an experimental tank, and the Panzer IIG would need a whole new video on its own. In summary, the Panzer IIG was a weird prototype that had 45 made and was a major redesign from the base Panzer II. The H and M were prototypes that slightly increased armor and added the HL-66, making 200 slightly stronger ponies. The Panzer IIJ was an interesting design, being a heavy reconnaissance tank. It had an impressive 80mm of armor frontally. There should be a picture up on screen, and Conovark has a great video on the Panzer IIJ, which should be in the description below. The Panzer IIL, or the Luchs, is another big variation from the base Panzer II. In some, it had 30mm of armor on the front, 20mm on the side, and a 180 horsepower engine. It was tested and approved for service in 1942, and only 100 were produced. The first real combat that the Panzer II saw was the invasion of Poland, where 83 were completely destroyed. A small number of Panzer IIs were deployed to Norway, with 2 being destroyed there. 920 Panzer IIs were used in France. These panzers used blitzkrieg tactics to outmaneuver the slow French tanks. Once Operation Barbarossa began, the remaining Panzer IIs were made into scout units and mostly avoided tank-on-tank combat. In 1942, all remaining Panzer IIs were pulled from service. Most were scrapped or converted to Marder IIs. The Panzer IIL was put into service in 1942, as I said earlier, and they were used up until Normandy. Sorry this video is a little bit short. The next video on the Panzer III should be out in the next week or so. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching, and join me next time on the Panzer series.